Battle of Hong Kong took place during World War II. It began on December 8, 1941. It ended on Christmas Day, surrendering Hong Kong to the Empire of Japan. The Japanese attack began at 8 a.m. on December 8, only less than 8 hours after the attack on Pearl Harbor. The British forces were outnumbered by the Japanese of a ratio of 3 to 1. The British forces also lacked experience in combat. The Japanese forces had roughly 52,000, while the Allied only had 14,000.
The Japanese invasion may be one of the most horrible tragedies in Hong Kong's history. Being occupied by the Japanese for 3 years and 8 months is very insulting. On the 8th of December 1941, the Japanese arrived on the new territories. The English was defending at the border of Jinjunkou Bay. In the afternoon of the 11th, the Japanese successfully crossed the border, and the English decided to give up with Kowloon and its new territories, with stay defending in the Hong Kong Islands. Since the 11th, two sides started a fierce fight, but the cannon of the Japanese, the damage of Hong Kong Island was enormously large. The night on the 18th, the Japanese attacked and landed on Shau Kei Wai. The defense of the English attempted to protect their land, but still lost to the Japanese. The governor of Hong Kong, Sir Mark Young, surrendered the territory of Hong Kong to Japan on 25th of December 1941, after 18 days of fierce fighting by British and Canadian defenders against overwhelming Japanese imperial forces. On top of Governor Mark Young, 7,000 British soldiers, businessmen, and civilians were kept in the prisoner of war or internment camps, such as Sham Shui Po prisoner camp and Stanley internment camp. All the deposits in the banks were frozen. Hong Kong dollars were also changed to military notes. A majority of people in Hong Kong left to their hometowns. Therefore, there were only 600,000 people left in Hong Kong. The occupation lasted for 3 years and 8 months until Japan surrendered. The Japanese occupation of Hong Kong ended in 1945.
This is where all the weapons and the gunpowder were stored. There were about 2 or 3 of these. Most 12-ton cannons cannot be lifted without the help of machinery, but this cannon enables gunners to undertake this operation. It uses a large timber block to place the gun in stages, and then it will be raised to the required height. It will then be moved into or out to the space below the barrel. This cannon was managed by one officer and 18 men. It has a range of 3,600 meters, firing a common shell of 64 pounds. These are the tanks that was used during the battle. This cannon was used in mid-1940, and after 5 years, 12,000 more had been produced. It is one of the most famous cannons used in the Second World War. It permits a turn of 360 degrees by turning a trail, and it has an effective range up to 12,252 meters.
This is the Brennan torpedo. This is the first guided torpedo. It was created by Louis Brennan in 1877. It goes up to speeds of 27 knots, which is 31 miles per hour, hitting targets up to 2,000 yards. This was installed in a cliff at the shoreline of the Lei Moon headland. It was controlled by 2 wires attached to the body of the torpedo.
This is where the British Army overlook into the sea for calculating the distance of the enemy. These are places that some of the cannons were placed. is the disappearing cannon, which uses recoil to go up back under cover and then being reloaded. This is where Japanese crossed over from Kowloon to Hong Kong because it has the shortest sea distance.
The attack was surprisingly strong and well thought out. We were not ready for the attack and they attacked when we least expected it. Life was hard. A lot of us were killed and the ones that were alive were always afraid that they might get killed any day. The Japanese treated us Asians as animals for the mass killing they did for fun. Hong Kong dollars were replaced by the Japanese military yen. The exchange is compulsory, but the military yen cannot be exchanged to anything else. So after the Japanese retreated, the military yen became totally worthless. There were very few public hospitals during the Japanese occupation because many of them were forced to be converted to military hospitals. We were all forced to do laboring work. We also did not have enough food to eat during that time. In order to overpower the British rule, Japanese even tried to change the names of the streets they named. Every aspect of the Hong Kongese people were under the Japanese control. We had no freedom at all at that time. We were treated like puppets under their rule.
18 days after the battle began, Sir Mark Young surrendered in person on December 25th, 1941 at the Japanese headquarters. This day was known to Hong Kong as Black Christmas. Isugai Rensuke became the first Japanese governor of Hong Kong. This lasted for 3 years and 8 months. Japanese soldiers terrorized local citizens by murdering many women and raping at an estimated 10,000 women. The Japanese occupation played an important role in the development of Hong Kong's history. Hong Kong was handed back to the British in 1945 after the surrender of Japanese forces on August 15th, 6 days after the United States dropped the atomic bomb on Nagasaki.